Hi, I'm going to be presenting my data analysis report. So my problem statement is if our goal is to determine whether advertising spending can reliably predict sales revenue using a simple line regression model. And the research question is, can we predict a business's annual sales revenue based on its advertising spend? Now, the variable's interest is the X variable, which is independent, and its advertising spend, and the Y dependent variable is sales revenue. Now, for data collection, the data set is 20 businesses and it records their advertising spend and sales revenue over a year. Now, no missing values were present and the data was already structured correctly. So for data exploration, we have our mean, which was 206.25. Our median was 202.5. Our standard deviation, 112.06. Our minimum value was 25, and our maximum value was 390. Now for the visualizations, as you see here, um, we got all of them. We got the histogram, the box plot, the scatter plot, and the residual plot, and they all correctly represent the values presented. And for the data analysis, we have the linear regression model, and the equation for the simpler linear regression model is y hat equals 7.42 plus 37.79, which equals 7.42 plus 3.79. And now I'm going to be explaining what this means. So the intercept of 7.42 is when advertising spend is 0K, expected sales revenue is 7.42K, because the 7.42K is just already there and it's not adding anything to the value. For the slope, that's when every additional 1K spent on advertising, sales revenue increases by an average of 3.79K. So for the R squared, we have a 0.99, which is 99.9% of the variation in sales revenue is explained by advertising spend, which is super high correlation. And the F statistic is 30,430, which shows that there's strong evidence that the model is significant. Now, for the residual plot analysis, the residuals appear randomly distributed, which indicates that linear regression is appropriate. For t-test for slope, the t-test confirms that the slope is significantly different from zero, meaning that advertising spend has a statistically significant effect on sales revenue. Now, I did a conclusion for the t-test slope. So for the null hypothesis equals zero, which means there's no relationship between advertising and sales revenue. But for the alternative, B does not equal zero, which means that there is a relationship. Now, for the test statistic, 174.45, and the p-value is less than 0.01. And the conclusion is reject the null that there's strong evidence that advertising spend significantly predicts sales revenue. Now, for the interpretation, the model strongly supports that higher advertising spends leads to higher sales revenue. And the R square value, 0.99, indicates almost a perfect linear relationship, meaning that there's a very strong relationship positively going up. And the positive slope 3.79 confirms that sales revenue increases as advertising spend increases. And for the conclusion, the businesses can use this model to estimate expected revenue based on their advertising budget. And the strong relationship suggests that investing in advertising is beneficial for increasing revenue. And I added a question, which is how does advertising spend affect customer retention on long-term growth and not for just immediate sales? Thank you.